intros. How do I say hi without it being awkward? When did hi become so awkward to say? Hello. I don't know. Hi guys, I suck at intros, so I'm just gonna get right into this video. Today we're gonna learn about a few accessibility terms in Korean. I want to put this disclaimer out first and foremost. I still have a lot to learn about the disabled community and how to be an ally through action and not just words. If ever throughout this video I misspeak or I use incorrect verbiage or anything like that, or if something is not sitting right with you, something's a little offensive that I'm just not aware of, please feel free to correct me and educate me in the comments. I would be very grateful for it, actually. I'm trying my very best to educate myself more, but of course, I'm not going to know everything of the ins and outs of what the community prefers. I'm trying my best, but again, I never feel offended by someone correcting me on how to properly address their own community. I think that's weird if you get offended by it, quite frankly. With that disclaimer out of the way, for this to be a very open, communicative relationship throughout this video, I am going to jump into some accessibility terms that I want to teach you guys. Pulling out my handy-dandy whiteboard. I feel like I should hold it like this. Hey. Okay, I'm gonna hold it like this. You guys literally don't care. You guys are like, just can you get on with the lesson? But, I'm just letting you guys know this isn't going to be a very professional Korean lesson, okay? I'm just going to teach you guys what you need to know with a dash of personality. All right, here we go. I might just hold it like this, fudge it. This is the first word. This is 장애, 장애, and this means disability. 장애. We feel good? If you want to say that someone has a disability, you would use the literal translation of to have something in Korean, which is 가져. So you would say 장애를 가졌다, 장애를 가졌어요. So next up we have 장애인, 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 which means person with a disability. Just a little tip that some of you may have already figured out, some of you may not have figured out. I'm gonna blow your mind. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. This guy right over here, when in is attached to a noun or an object or anything like that, it is indicating a person. So in, I would say, is equivalent to the ER at the end of a word in English. So in this case, since in is attached behind 장애, this quite literally just breaks down to person with a disability. Isn't that cool? So to refer to a person who is deaf, you would say 청각 장애인. So we know 장애인, which means person with a disability. 청각, right in front, is going to be what is the specific disability. So that would be 청각, 청각 장애인, 청각 장애인, person who is deaf. Next up we have 시각 장애인, 시각 장애인, that is a person who is blind. Another tip of really breaking down the word, she will indicate anything to do with the eyes, anything to do with vision. Of course, it's not every she you see. To put a long story short, this specific she in ancient Chinese writing, this specific hanja of she is pertaining to the eyes. So for example, you would say 시야, or that's the only one I can think of right now. But 시각 장애인, just by saying she at the beginning, you're going to know that it has something to do with the eyes. Next up we have 언어 장애인, 언어 장애인. This is going to be a person who cannot speak. So 언어, some of you guys may know already, literally means language. So 언어 장애인, if you break that up, it is saying 장애인, person with a disability, and is having to do something with 언어, the language. Of course, those three categories of people with disabilities does not encapsulate nearly all of the different types out there, but those are the 3 that I just want to start you guys off with. Now I'm going to move us on to accessibility tools that people with disabilities use. First up, oh, look at that. That was such a clean... Okay, anyway, sorry. First up is Pochongi. Pochongi. This is not G, it's ki. I didn't want to put a K because it's not ki, it's ki. Pochongi. Pochongi, which is a hearing aid. Oh, hearing aid. Okay, that kind of looks long, but let me break it down for you guys. 달팽이관 임플란트, which is a cochlear implant. For those of you who don't know what a cochlear implant is, it is another tool that people who are deaf use, but it is different than a hearing aid. You should definitely look it up because I'm not gonna lie, I don't know the complete science behind it. So let me start off with the easier part. Implant is implant. Right there. These guys are loan words, so it's just gonna be implant. As you guys can see here, implant. Implant. 달팽이관 is going to be the cochlear part. 달팽이관. 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 Fun fact. 달팽이 means snail. It means snail, and the reason why is because the cochlear implant, it has this little twirl aesthetic aspect to it, but that might be a really easy way for you guys to remember this, is because the cochlear implant is kind of swirly twirly, it will resemble a snail. 달팽이. You're doing great. Alright, next up we have 수화. 수화, which is sign language. This is pretty easy. It's just going to be 수화. 수화. So if you're saying, do you know sign language? You would say 수화 아세요? Next we have 점자. 점자, which is Braille. 점자. 점자. So 점 quite literally means dot, and 자, so you can think of it similar to 글자, which means letter. 글자. 숫자. 숫자, which means number. All of them end in 자 because, okay, don't quote me because I don't know the exact 한자 meaning of it, but it's going to pertain to the writing of something. So 점자 can quite literally break down to writing in dots. Alright, so we next have 자막. Wow, my handwriting is really bad there, but we're gonna totally ignore that. 자막. 자막 is captions. So if anyone is needing closed captions, you would just say 자막 있으세요? Does this have captions? 이거 자막 있으세요? Does this have captions? Next, we have wheelchair, which is wheelchair. Wheelchair is going to be a loan word for us, so it sounds very similar. The only difference is going to be that the W and the H are going to be swapped. So it's wheelchair. If you cannot remember this, it's fine. Don't feel ashamed. Just say wheelchair in a Korean accent. wheelchair. They might get it, to be honest. You can get away with it with this one. I tried to structure this video as easy to learn from as possible, but if you guys have any feedback for me, if you want me to, I don't know, write bigger or slow down or anything, feel free to let me know in the comments so that I can take that into consideration if I ever make another Korean lesson video. But I hope that these are new vocab words for you to learn from and be able to store away in your bank of knowledge. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you were able to learn something, at least one thing. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys around.